This is not the video I thought I was making today. Things definitely didn't go to plan. But let's start at the beginning anyway. So I bought the Disney Thomas Kinkade coloring book, and after so many requests, I decided it was time to color a page in. These pictures are gorgeous. There are so many different scenes, but wow, there is a lot of detail here to color. I can see why people find this a bit intimidating at first, but I think it also presents a fun challenge and would be enjoyable to color if you just trust yourself to start. One thing I'll point out right away is that I've seen a lot of comments from people asking why their final pictures don't look anything like the reference photos on the left. So let's just talk about that for a moment. These are original paintings by Thomas Kinkade, a famous artist, and they are amazing. These coloring pages on the right have been created from these paintings, not the other way around. So these paintings don't have these black lines, and it's not expected that the average person would even come close to coloring something as detailed as this. If you own this book and haven't colored a single page because you are scared to do so, I'm telling you today, it's time to start. Just choose a page, any page, and give it a go. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it definitely doesn't have to look like this. This acts as a great reference picture and as inspiration, but don't let this be the thing that scares you off from coloring this book. If you want to start easy, don't start with your favorite page. Use one of the many other pages as practice and just start somewhere. That's my challenge to you today. But for me, I'm giving myself a bigger challenge. Because I know so many people are scared off by these paintings, I want to see if it's actually possible to recreate one of these coloring pages to this level of detail. I've chosen this picture from Beauty and the Beast. The biggest obstacle I'm going to face in recreating something like this painting is the black lines. So I'm going to try out some white ink, which I've seen a few people recommend to lighten the lines. Now, I've never used this before, and as always, I haven't thought to test this out before doing this on camera in front of the world. So let's hope this works. Okay, so the ink is warping the paper a little bit, so I'm guessing it's also not going to hold up well to wet mediums, which limits what we can do within this book, but we'll still see what we can achieve here. Disney has also released a poster version of this book, and I think the paper in this might be slightly heavier, although it is hard to tell. It is one-sided, which is a bonus, and the lines are smaller. In fact, this seems to be the full painting, whereas the coloring book has taken smaller sections of these paintings into separate pictures. So both are great options, and the poster book is probably better if you're using alcohol markers or something that will bleed through the page. But I'm using the smaller coloring book today because I know that's what most people have bought. The only way I could be sure of what I'm working with was to test my supplies on the same paper I'll be coloring on, but there aren't any blank pages in this book that I can use as a sample page, so this is it. I tried to find a page I'm less likely to color, and there are plenty of pages still in this book, so I'm sorry if you really like The Lion King, and I'm here defaming your favorite movie scene.
Ow! Jeez, what was that for?
The results of my test have been that the white ink is effective at reducing the black lines, but it warps the paper and changes how it feels. The Tombow markers I'm planning to use don't bleed through this paper like what alcohol markers would, but they aren't ideal on the white ink, so I'll need the pencils to help me cover up any areas where this is noticeable. The final problem being that there's not really much texture for the pencils to grip, especially on the white ink. I think we can work with this, and at least I know the challenges now, so there shouldn't be any surprises later. No, okay, this is even worse. So let's start by applying the white ink. This is a long process, and I'm not sure if this is worth the effort, if I'm being completely honest, but it's what I need to do if I really want to recreate the paint-like look of our reference images from Thomas Kinkade. I'm trying not to cover everything in white ink because some of these lines will be in areas that are dark enough that they won't be visible anyway. And with that, let's start coloring with our base layer of markers. If you've watched some of my past videos, I often choose all my colors at the start, but because I'm copying a reference image with so much variety, I will choose my colors as I go. The markers are just a base layer, so they don't have to be a perfect match because I can make adjustments with my pencils on top later. As I'm filling in the top garden, I'm noticing the line details are actually different to the painting. Some have been adjusted to make this easier to colour in instead of being a perfect match to the original painting. Okay, I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out so far. Now for the ground. I can really see the white ink now. Welcome to the ugly phase. It's okay, we did anticipate this and the pencils should be able to cover this up. Right now, I'm just going for the overall colour. I find it can help to stand back and squint until the images look blurry, or take a photo and look at it from a distance. This can help to see if your image has similar colours overall to the image you're trying to copy. This looks like a bit of a mess right now, but I think I'm happy with the colours so far, given that I can still make some adjustments with my pencils. Okay, I may be regretting the white ink. I wonder if a workable fixative spray or something similar would help to add more tooth to the page, because my pencils just don't seem to be able to find anything to grip to add any pigment. Alright, this isn't working. I honestly didn't expect this to be so hard. This white is so resistant. My pencils aren't even doing anything now. It feels like I'm trying to colour a shiny magazine page, or like I've burnished everything and there's nothing more I can add. I've put so much white ink on my main characters, so I'm a bit scared to even attempt those at this point. I need to start thinking about what else I can do here. I mean, from a distance, this doesn't look so bad, but close up, it's a mess. And I don't know how to fix this, but I also don't want to just give up on this after telling everyone not to be scared of this colouring book. Oh. Let's do these characters, but I'm skipping the markers. There is too much ink, so I'm going straight to the pencil. They are not doing well. It feels like I'm using a cheap dollar store pencil where it's all filler and no pigment. Okay, I need a break. I am not enjoying this right now at all. This is really disheartening, and I know this is a beautiful book, and right now I feel like I've destroyed it. I don't want this video to become another excuse for someone not to attempt to colour this book and leave it sitting empty on their bookshelf, because an empty colouring book is a far bigger waste than a book full of trial and error and new experiments. And while this is not going well, I'm not going to let this experience be my only experience of colouring this book. So let's find another page to colour and come back to this page in a few minutes. Hello, Dumbo. So here's what I suggest in actually colouring this book. Forget trying to recreate the painting. Don't stress over the black lines, embrace them. Your picture doesn't have to be perfect, and comparing yourself to a professional artist like Thomas Kinkade is not the goal here. This paper is not ideal for markers, so I recommend using pencils, and Prismacolors or other wax-based pencils are great because you won't need many layers, so the lack of tooth in this paper isn't an issue. The paper itself is thicker than normal paper, so it is nice to colour on. Personally, I love colour and I find mixing the colours fascinating, so I'm still going to use all the colours I can see in this image, but that's a personal decision. You don't have to go as intricate as this. Just grab a medium grey, a dark grey and a light grey and use this picture to show you where the basic shadows go. If you're feeling brave, grab a warm yellow and add some of the lining as well, or work in light layers and see what other colours you can see. The lighter that you draw your layers, the more subtle colour changes you'll be able to include. I'm glad I've stopped to do this for a little while and I'll come back to finish this page later, but for now I am feeling refreshed enough to tackle that first project again and see if we have any hope in recovering it. So I don't have fixative spray, but I do have hairspray. I know a lot of people use hairspray instead of fixative to seal their work. So my theory is that it might work to add extra texture to our page as well, right? It's a risk and it might ruin everything, or it might work. And I've spent hours on this already, but I'm not happy with the current result anyway. So I feel like I've kind of got nothing to lose here. So on our test page, it does seem to make the black lines bleed, but only when there's nothing on them. So if our page is already colored, I guess this shouldn't be a problem. Maybe let's try some Copic markers first. Okay, whoa. There's so much built up on this page that these aren't even bleeding through. Did I just discover a new hack to make a bleed-proof page? Actually, no, I don't recommend this. This is doing weird things. These markers aren't absorbing at all. It's like drawing on photo paper and it's a bit unpredictable. But at least our colors aren't totally washed out anymore. Okay, there's nothing left to try. Let's go for the hairspray. But first, I'm gonna take some photos in case this is the last time this even somewhat resembles a nice coloring page. So the worst thing that could happen, happened. The hairspray reacted with all the alcohol ink that hadn't absorbed into the page. So let's hope there's enough texture now that I can fix this with a layer of pencils when it dries. Has it worked? No. It's like trying to color a magazine page. Where's the grit? Is this hairspray too high quality? Protecting your hair from damage or drying out. Maybe I need some cheaper stuff. Hey, I'm in quarantine right now. Can I ask a favor? Let's try some cheap stuff. Surely this will have some grit. Oh, this smell takes me back to my childhood calisthenics competitions. No, okay, this is even worse. I think this page is done. Is this a good or bad time to remind you to subscribe for more colouring tutorials? I often do things for the first time on camera and I often make mistakes, but I think today trumps them all. And it's kind of embarrassing that it's in an adult colouring book, which is like the main thing that my channel is about. But it doesn't benefit you for me to just delete this and pretend that I'm perfect and I never make mistakes. Because my job isn't just to teach you how to draw and to colour, it's also to be your guinea pig. And I make these mistakes so that you don't have to, but also so that you learn it's okay to try new things and to get it wrong sometimes, even with your nice supplies and with your new colouring books. I am disappointed I wasn't able to recover this page, and I'm disappointed I couldn't showcase this book better because this is a beautiful book. But I'm not disappointed that I gave this a go. It's not a waste to make mistakes. It's a waste to leave your supplies unused and your colouring books empty. Every time you choose to take a risk and try something, your creativity grows and you learn something new. I'm going to enjoy colouring some of the other pages in this book, and I'm going to embrace the black lines and just enjoy using my pencils. I think that's the best way to enjoy this book. Start simple and use the reference photo as inspiration. Challenge yourself to use more colours and lighting as you build your skills. In fact, this book could be an amazing way to develop your eye for colour mixing and learn light and shade. There definitely are ways to reduce the black lines. I obviously need to try some different methods and even give this another go. But I think if you're really wanting to create that painted look, the best method is actually to transfer this to some other paper so that you can really use the best paper with some mixed media tools and even lighten the lines in that process. If you've bought this book, I'd love to see your pages in my Facebook colouring group, and keep an eye out for my final Dumbo colouring page that I'll be sharing when I'm done.